my biggest shock of the weekend, or my biggest, shocking game result, is going to be the Portland Trailblazers upset of the Denver Nuggets. I mean, from top to bottom, I'm sitting here just looking at the box score. I didn't get to watch the entire game, unfortunately. I had some other activities to attend to, but I was able to watch enough to see that Dame was going to have one of those games. It seemed like it was on for him early. He ended with 34 points, 13 assists, and then pretty much the rest of the team followed suit. CJ had 21. Melo had 18 off the bench. Even Nurkic gave up some. Not gave up. He provided 16 points, and so on and so forth. But I mean, like, you look at the stat sheet for Denver, and it relatively, for the most part, looks the same as well. I mean, Aaron Gordon had 16. Michael Porter Jr., the X factor for Denver, in my opinion, had 25. Jokic had 34 and 13. 16. So, I mean, I'm just looking at one player in particular. I think Paul Millsap was the biggest lack of, production here. He only had 3 points in 15 minutes. And I'm just sitting here like, this is a former All-Star. This is a former, like, top performer in Atlanta back in the day. When he signed that big contract with Denver a few years back, it was a max deal. And it's just like, with the addition of Aaron Gordon, it puts less stress on Paul to have to start or give up so much minutes. But I'm just sitting here like, Denver needs to ship up, because Portland is a streaky team. We all know that when Dame does good, the team does good. But if Portland shoots the lights out like they did also from the 3-point line, they shot 47% from the three as well, and they shot almost 95% from the free throw line. Denver's got to find a way to contain Dame. And again, these are hard and difficult tasks to talk about and to put into action, because Dame is one of the most electrifying players in the league. Mm-hmm. But people have to understand, they live and die with this play. This is the player that when he's cooking, everybody around him is going to end up eating, because you have to double him, or you have to come off the screen a little harder and someone's going to be open. And that's a big reason why Dame was also able to have 13 assists. If you're going to collapse on me, if you're going to double me off the screen, I'm going to kick it to one of my teammates. And similar to what I said about Dallas, if you're going to shoot 43s, you got to make at least 40% of them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The volume of shots you're putting up is kind of insane from beyond the arc. And for that to happen, or for the success to continue to happen in this series, Portland is going to have to find ways to, go to the basket and attack at the rim, because I'm going to keep repeating myself. You can't continue to play basketball, shoot the volume of shots you're shooting, and expect them to go in all the time. There's going to be a game where they're just off. There's going to be a game where Dame doesn't hit, or CJ has an off night, or even Melo has a bad night. But I like the fact that they came out aggressive. I like that Portland made a statement in this game and said, hey, we don't care if you are the 3 seed. We don't care if you have a finalist for the MVP. I'm Dame Lillard and I'm here. And I feel that, Portland did a great job at making their presence felt. And I think that Denver, this is a big wake-up call, because my God, this was an ass whooping at the end of this game. And Denver just kind of sat back and said, damn, we kind of missed Jamal Murray, because we all know that when Jamal's on that court, this is a little bit of a different team. So this game definitely took me for a shock when I saw the final score at the end of the day.
Well, the one thing that kind of stood out to me about this game was that Denver was not aggressive. They only shot 8 free throws the entire game. And they only were able to hit 4 of those free throws. So for me, like when I look at what Denver's going to have to do for game 2, I think they got to make it a primary focus to get to the rim and try to get contact to get to the free throw line. If you're able to drive in the lane, you're able to get a foul and then possibly get an and one. Trust me, that can really garner a lot of momentum, especially against a team like Portland that can shoot the lights out with Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Carmelo Anthony. You're going to have to combat against that. And I think the way that they're going to have to win these games is going to be a little bit different than they've had to do the entire season, because, they can rely on Jamal Murray's ability to shoot, but now that he's out of the lineup, he's not going to be back until next year. They're going to have to adjust without him being there, and they're going to have guys step up in the process to fill the void that he left after he got hurt. Michael Porter Jr., look, he played a decent game, 25 points, shot 12 of 21 from the field, but he was 1 of 10 behind the 3-point line. Jokic had a great game. 34 points, was 14 to 27 from the field. However, he only had 1 assist. You know,
That's definitely not Jokic's game.
I mean, he had 16 rebounds, which he was just eating rebounds. But usually when it comes to him being the facilitator on the team, he's a little bit more impactful. Just in this game, it didn't prove to be that way. But, you know, you're going up against a very prolific scoring team in Portland, and they're going to have to step up the defensive intensity as well. Giving up 123 points in the first game of the series, when you look at a lot of these playoff games, these first playoff games in all of these series, the defensive intensity has been stepped up. You can tell in a lot of these games. A lot of these teams are struggling to get even to 100 points in 4 quarters of play. And Portland dropped damn near 125 points on Denver on the road. So for game 2, I'm expecting Denver to step up the defensive intensity, try to be able to lock up Dame and maybe Carmelo a little bit better than they did in game 1. And the scoring options on the team for Denver are still there, even without Jamal being in the lineup. However, I think they got to focus on stepping up their defense and try to drive to the lane and get some foul shots. I think if they improve their free throw shooting and they get more opportunities to knock down some shots from the free throw line, I think it does definitely help their case going into game 2. I think it will definitely give them a better shot to win game 2 or be more competitive against Portland moving forward.